Hello, welcome to Mindset Magic Training number 4, and we are doing it today. We are learning about the fourth part of the manifestation formula, or reality formula, if you want to, whatever you want to call it. But we're talking about our behavior. We're talking about behaviors today, and so I invite you to get comfortable, chilling out if you can. Take a deep breath. I have to. Been running around trying to get everything done. I have so many different projects going on. I can't wait to get these things started. And I got to move that owl's feather because it's like really annoying. It looks funny on my head, above my head. Okay, so go ahead, get your crystals. If you have to watch this later, that's fine. If you just want to listen, that's fine too. I'll go ahead and let you guys know that I'm on, just so you guys know I'm here. Let me go ahead. We're going to talk about our behavior today. Let me go ahead and let's see. And how we can shift the way that we are experiencing our life by becoming aware of our behaviors. So who is aware of their behaviors? Do you have bad behaviors? Are you aware of how you treat other people even? Do you have something that you do that will help you feel good in the moment? Like a lot of, when we struggle with like addiction, that was my thing as far as my behavior. And then also, are you stuck in indecision and inaction? Those are the two things that you're going to learn. A couple strategies on how to get out of inaction and how to get out of indecision, how to get things moving. That's really what we're going to talk about today, is how to get things going when they have stalled. And there is a name for this. I like it, and we'll talk about it in a second. But go ahead and get ready. Light some incense. I'm going to clear the energy here. We're going to do a little energy stuff real quick because I'm feeling like I need to do that. And then we will get started. All right. And so let me go ahead and get who else I wanted to invite over here. Let's get both of those ladies. Okay. Oh, wait, here we go. And, oh, wait, let's get her too. Heather. Oh, and her too. Okay, I think I'm done now. Maybe. All right, guys. I think I got everybody. I think I did. Okay. Anyway, I know you guys will see this. And so let's go ahead. I'm going to light some incense for real quick here. I want to clear the energy around here. I was trying to find music that I could play on Facebook, but I have to have, it's not like the royalties or whatever. And say hi. Who's on here? How are you doing today? How are things going? I'm going to move that owl's feather right above my head. It's really bothering me. Like this owl's feather is really bothering me right above my head. So I have to move it. And let me get a lighter real quick so I can light this incense. If there is one anywhere. If not, okay, I'm not going to use that, I guess. I'm going to do this instead. Hello, whoever that is. Thank you for being here. Let's learn how to get out of inaction and make decisions today. How about it? Okay, there we go. That's how I cleared. So if you guys saw, if you can't light anything, it's okay. Use essential oils just to clear out that negative or hectic energy, that chaotic energy. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today, you guys know about for the last 4 weeks, we've done the manifestation. This is literally like reality formula. So how life happens, how our experience happens in our life, okay? It starts with an event, right? So something happens. And this is mindset magic because we are literally creating magic with our mind. We're using our mind as a tool to heal, to grow, to experience better life experiences, right? That's what we're doing. And this also goes into the healing process. And so that is what this 4-week series, and we're actually going to extend it to 5 because we're going to do one more next week, but how to take control of your mind and then take control of your life experience. Like, it's so fun. And so you start with the event, right? We did this last week. Our perception, how we interpret things that happen in our life. They can be that one person can see it one way and then we can see it a different way. You guys know that our perception is key. So we talked about that. If you haven't watched that, go back and watch it and then watch this afterwards, because I tried to do these in to where one builds on the other. Last week, we did the reframing last week because in order for us to pay attention to our behaviors, because it all starts with awareness, right? You have to become aware, first of all, that you're able to do this. Okay? You have to be aware that you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your behaviors. That is not who you are. Those you can actually get your power back and take control over those. Okay? That's what I teach, because I've done it. And so we started with that, which was last week. We started with the thoughts. So developing awareness of your thoughts was week 1. So we have to develop that awareness of our self-talk. We have to develop that awareness of, oh my gosh, the voices in my head really are not me. Like, they're us, but they're not us. We are the thinker of our thoughts. We are not our thoughts. Okay. If anybody struggles with that, please let me know in the comments, whatever. Like, how have you been with your thoughts? Now, my apprentices or my clients, so the ladies who are actively doing this right now, in their life, within just a couple weeks, and the session that I had this past weekend, they're like, oh my gosh, like, just the couple weeks we've been working together, they are aware of the negative self-talk and how that has led to their lower vibes, their sadness, not taking action because we don't think we're good enough. Imagine if you could change that to, I am good enough and I'm a badass. Like, I can do whatever I put my mind to. Can you imagine what you could accomplish with that thought in your head versus, I can't do it. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough, whatever it is, right? It's crazy. It's like, that's why we call it magic, right? Is because it's like, literally we can change the way our life looks and feels and the direction of our life just by taking control of our mind. Okay. And so that was the first week. Second week was then we move on to the emotions, because once an event happens, we take that event in, we interpret it, whatever way we interpret it. So for example, if a husband or if a boyfriend, messages another girl or something, I know that's really petty, but I'm trying to think of an example really quickly. Actually, for me, let's use my life. Like, I love to use my life as examples. So, something I had been planning did not work out. Okay. In the last couple days, I've been in my head and I've been going down the train of thought of, I'm just not cut out for this. It's taking too long. Like, I'm not doing things right. Like, I was going down a train of thought that was negative. I was going down a rabbit hole of negative thoughts, right? And I teach this stuff, you guys. Like, I'm a student as well, but like, this is stuff you guys are going to be doing and we're going to be doing for the rest of our life. But the more that we do it, the stronger we are at catching these things and then do what we're going to talk about today. Okay. But so you catch those thoughts, because then I started feeling really low by that action. The event that happened was that I quit my job, the side job, right? And then I started thinking like, okay, everything's gonna be fine. But then I started thinking, oh my gosh, no, like, I can't pay for everything I wanted to pay for. Like, I started going down this road, and then I'm like, I need more clients. I need to be doing better with my coaching. Like, I just started going down this road. Well, then I started feeling depressed and sad. And yes, I started my like monthly thing. Sorry, TMI, but I did have my hormones going a little crazy. However, that's still what happened. That is the flow of how it goes. The event, your thoughts, emotions, and then, guys, my behavior. What was I doing? I was feeling sorry for myself. I was sitting on the couch, watching, what did I watch? I watched a show yesterday. Fear of the Walking Dead. I got caught up on Fear of the Walking Dead. I love Fear of the Walking Dead. Let me know who else is like a Walking Dead fanatic. And then I started to shift because I started to work on some stuff for the soul relaunch. And then I did the video yesterday. That led me to take action. I was inspired to share how I was feeling and to share how I dealt with it. So then maybe I can help someone else, right? So that is kind of how it goes. Or if I hadn't gotten out of my inaction and indecision yesterday, I would have continued. Maybe I wouldn't have even showed up today. I can't imagine that I wouldn't do that. But I mean, a year ago, I probably would have done that, of just canceling everything because I was so much in my stuff, instead of thinking about helping other people and helping myself feel good in the time being. And then what happens after that? The outcome would have been, because then that's the end. That's the outcome. That's what we're going to talk about next week, is how all this turns in. We're going to put it all together next week. I was going to do it today, but there's too much material. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. So we're only going to talk about the behavior. So you know about your thoughts. You know how to catch your emotions. And if you don't, that's okay. You still have a chance by looking at your behaviors. And matter of fact, if you're having a hard time with catching your thoughts and catching, knowing what you believe still and catching, tuning in with your feelings. All right, well, today's your other chance. Look at how you are behaving. Are you depressed? Are you not showing up for your life? Are you being judgmental to someone? Are you blaming other people? Are you, what are you doing right now? How is your behavior, good or bad? And number one is to accept it. There is no judgment. This is a judgment-free zone. Everything is information, okay? That is like the rules of this group and of my practice and of my space, is everything is there to tell us something. And so look at your behaviors. How are you doing today? So every day I like to check in with how I'm feeling. That's a good practice to get into. And if you're not feeling so good, so like yesterday morning, I was not feeling good at all. I was like feeling sorry for myself. And so I did what we're about to do, right? Well, I'm about to share with you. And so with behavior, number one, you have to become aware of it. You have to become aware of what you're doing. And then we can move on from that, right? So let's talk about indecision real quick. So behavior. Indecision is a behavior when you are stuck between two choices. And inaction is a little bit the same. I mean, you can think of inaction being the same as indecision in a sense, but I kind of feel like they're a little different. I think indecision is when it's okay to pause. Now, here's what I mean. So let's say you're at a job. Okay, first of all, I'll use my thing again. I'll just go ahead and use my life again like I always do. So before I quit my side job, I had a decision to make. I had to think okay, if I quit this job that is literally draining my spirit, it was draining me because it wasn't aligned with my truth. It was very manipulative. It felt really gross to me. I don't know, it just did. And so I had to think about making this decision of, am I going to stay? Am I going to go? Well, I kept trying to make the best of it. And you guys know it. You guys saw my journey on here of oh my gosh, it was an amazing company. I was aligned with their values. And then it kept going and going. And the more that I got in and the more that I learned things, I'm like, wait a minute, this is not aligning. They're kind of ripping people off a little bit. And I don't know how I feel about it. And so anyway, that was a decision I had to make. Well, I couldn't decide, and I was trying really, really hard not to quit, and I needed that job to fund other things I'm doing for the soul relaunch. And so I stayed, and finally at the last minute, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. My body wouldn't allow me to do it. And I'm not even making excuses. I literally could not, my intuition, my body, it was crazy the way that I felt. I've never felt that way before. So I quit. And then after I quit, and this is something I think this is why we don't make decisions, guys, listen up. So after I quit, I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I made a mistake. So who is afraid of making a mistake? Is that why you're in indecision? Like in the chat, tell me if you're in indecision right now, or you're in inaction where you're not doing something that you're not taking action towards anything because you're not sure what to do. Let me know if that's you. So if you don't know what to do, put a 1. And if you're stuck because you are fearing making a mistake, okay, just one if you're just stuck in indecision. I don't even care what it is, just if you are in that place and where you're not taking action on something because you are afraid of making a mistake or you're afraid of failing. It's another big one. So just whatever it is. And this is, and when you can actually say, and this is how it works, you guys, this is how it is, okay? This is doing the work right here, what we're doing. And Darla's one of my, she's like my apprentice or my client or whatever, like my friend / coach sometimes. She's my spiritual advisor. She's all types of things in one. But what we do in sessions is like, we actually look at her life. Like she talks to me, right? But as she's talking to me, things are breaking up where then she thinks about something else. And this happens a lot. Like, when someone comes to the office, she comes there and we have a problem. Then as we discuss it and we start, actually feeling the feelings. I know a lot of us don't want to feel the feelings, but sorry, you got to, because feelings are information. Okay. They're really, really, really important. And so as we do all that, it's almost like a snow globe. We turn it upside down. Everything's been packed down, right? And then we turn it over and everything starts to shake up and all these memories come up and all these new solutions. I mean, it's crazy, right? But when you're stuck in indecision and inaction, you're in analysis paralysis, to where you have so many things you could do, but you're paralyzed by not knowing what to do, okay? So either you don't know what to do or you know what to do and you don't want to do it, right? So whatever it is, that is a behavior. Okay. And so today we're going to get out of that, because here's the thing. If you stay in inaction and indecision and you don't make a decision, and by not making a decision, you're making a decision. You guys know that, right? Like if you're not making a decision, you are choosing to stay where you are. You're literally making that conscious choice to say, I'm going to stay here feeling miserable or feeling like a failure. Instead of doing something and actually putting effort into my life and actually paying attention to whatever it is. Okay. And so become aware of it. You are stuck in indecision. Become aware of your behavior. Okay. I know it's like we want to point fingers and blame other people for our shitty life, right? That has nothing to do with other people. Nothing. Like that has nothing to do with it, right? It is us. That is the only control we have, is over ourselves. And so we develop awareness. And then so in indecision, ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Like, what is it you're afraid of that is keeping you from taking action on something? Be honest. Just write it down. Like, I would love for you to have a journal out right now or at least sit down and do this. That is the work. It isn't watching this, it isn't listening to me. It is doing it, right? And actually answering these questions. So what am I afraid of? Am I afraid of failure? Am I afraid of making a mistake? I'm going to do the wrong thing. Well, first of all, you're never going to do the wrong thing, ever, okay? And this is where our spiritual practice and our intuition, or whatever it is that you believe in, your higher guidance, can come in to help you. This is what a spiritual practice, soul practice, is for, you guys. Like, when you are here, you have a guidance system, and it is in your intuition or your higher guidance, whatever it is that when you feel excited and happy and in alignment, that's when you're doing things that are in alignment with your truth. But then when you're stuck in something where maybe, okay, I'm trying to give an example as far as like what other people think you should do. Okay, right now, the job, right? I'm a mom. I have a girl. She's 9 years old. My son, he doesn't live here anymore, but I'm a mom. I should have a regular job. Okay. This is something that I always struggled with up until the last couple of years, where I don't have a regular job. Is that irresponsible of me? I am an entrepreneur. I make money doing things for people that will help them. from somebody else, they might think that that's irresponsible, right? And so what I was doing when I got this job, to be honest with you guys, was I was kind of I was doing it because I really felt like I could like it, and then I was also doing it because it was the more right thing to do while I built my business. And look where that got me. Look where that got me, right? I did that partly not because I really wanted to, but because I knew it looked better. But also I knew that it was guaranteed money every 2 weeks, right? You're an entrepreneur, that is not really how it goes. That's what building a business is about. I have to find that flow, right? But that's the example. That's what I mean. When you do things for other people and you're stuck, because now you're like, I did this because my dad said I should. I did that my whole life. And then it ends up not aligning. So this is when you tune into, this is what finding your truth is all about. This is what getting into alignment with who you really are and what you're really about, and healing from all of the past stuff that's happened, getting over your stuff. Someone just knocked, but I'm not sure who it is. Hold on a minute, guys. They'll just have to come back. I don't care. Okay. So anyway, ask, what am I afraid of? So write that down. Okay. So, and then another thing is if this has been just a little bit, like maybe you're just in a pause, maybe you're just on pause right now, and like you need a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, don't make it a couple months, but it's okay to pause, you guys. I want to just let you guys know that, like, here's some permission that if you are beating up on yourself because you don't, because you're stuck in indecision and you're beating up on yourself, just stop beating up on yourself. It's okay. Like, you're doing the best you can. Just be in a pause for a minute. But then in that pause, we're figuring out what it is you want. That is number 2. You have to know what it is you want. What are you going after in your life? What is it? Where do you want to be? What are your goals? Because if you don't have any goals, it's very hard to have direction, right? It's very hard. So for example, for me again, or let's do a client. Let's talk about, well, let's see. Yeah, let's do a client. I have a client who wants to, someone I'm working with, they have a lot of anger for someone, and they want to they know they don't want to feel that way. They also know that they want to be happy, right? They want to be in a healthy relationship. She already has all her stuff together. She's got a great career. She's got a beautiful home. She has her stuff together, but it's the relationship part that we're really focusing on, because she's not good with not good, I shouldn't say not good, but she's having trouble with connecting and trusting people. And so she has a direction. So when she goes on dates and stuff, she also knows what she wants. Ooh, here's an even better example. I have another one who knows exactly what she wants in a relationship. Okay. And this is something that I didn't know what I wanted in a relationship really, except to be treated right. And what was that, right? But she is very specific. And so when she goes on dates, she knows after that date, yes or no. You know, she doesn't waste their time anymore, and she goes on her merry way. However, their egos have come out to rare. Oh my gosh, it's been crazy, these stories. Like I one day she'll share them, and I want her to, because it's crazy what an ego is going to do, what does when they're rejected. But anyway, that's what I mean of having direction in your life. So 1, it's okay to pause. 2, what are your goals? What are your goals right now? What do you want in your life? And if you don't know, look at what you're lacking. What are you complaining about all the time? What are you, always, bitching to your girlfriends about? What is it that you want in your life? And so then that'll help you get out of indecision and take action, okay? And then that aligned guidance, that spiritual guidance and that human guidance. And what aligned guidance is, if you guys did the, you know what aligned guidance is, because we do a whole mindful morning teaching on it. But it's about having people around you who are aligned with your beliefs. They want the best for you. They're not over here saying, you should do it this way, or you're not good enough to do that, or, they bring you down. Aligned guidance is actually finding someone who has done the thing you want to do. That's why I have a mentor, right? Because I want to do what she's doing. But always finding someone who's a couple steps ahead of you to see how they've done it. And instead of asking people, okay, like your family is very judgmental. So if you have a very judgmental family, don't ask them for guidance, because you know what? That's probably why you're stuck. And I'm not blaming them, but I mean, it's because you're asking people who it's not aligned guidance. It's not in your best interest. Then you have your spiritual practice. So you sit with yourself, you in meditation, you pray, you do whatever like for me, I pray and then I meditate, which praying is talking and asking and requesting, and meditating is listening to that guidance. And this is why clearing out that clutter to your soul, which is what my soul care sessions are about, that's what we're doing, is clearing out the clutter. And it's not a fast process. It isn't a one and done, okay? This is a lifetime work. This is work for a lifetime. For the rest of your life, you're going to be learning, more about who you are and clearing all that. And so those two things, pause, get clear on your goals, and then seek aligned guidance from spirit and from a human team, okay? And then when it comes to inaction, there is a couple things you can do that I've recently learned, and it helps me. And so one, ask, why am I not taking action? Same thing with not making a decision. Like, what am I afraid of? If I take action and do this, people are going to judge me. Sometimes in my head, I'm like, oh, since I am not quiet and I share my truth and I'm on Facebook all the time and I'm all in people's inboxes if I see them having a bad day or they're sad or depressed, I can be a little annoying in your ear. But it's for a good reason, right? I think last week that I talked about that lady who shot and killed herself, that mom. That's why I do this work, regardless if the reason she did that is what I think it is, right? It doesn't matter. She did it because she didn't know she could control how she thinks. She didn't know that she could take her power back. That's my job to share that, right? I'm literally working for God. He is my boss. It's hard for me to work for anyone else. And I just discovered that like earlier today, this morning, when I was watching Mary Magdalene and just had like an aha moment of anyway. Okay, that's a whole other thing. But why are you stuck in inaction? What are you fearing? Because you're fearing something. So we're going to fix that. Because when we fear what could happen, why aren't we excited about what could happen? Right? Why can't we shift that? When I did this is when I really started to take action. When I stopped fearing what could happen bad and started thinking what could happen that would change people's lives and my life. Like, what are the possibilities of like all of the great things that this could take me to? Instead of, oh my gosh, what is so-and-so going to say? Oh my gosh, my dad is going to hate that I'm saying this on Facebook or whatever. Or, oh my gosh, I'm going to be judged for this, whatever. That is fear. That is the ego. Okay. We are stuck in the ego. When we are stuck in inaction, it is actually the ego. And because we are afraid of something. And then when we take action, it is from our spirit, from our intuition, from that love. It's from love. Okay. And so here are the two little methods. So 1 5-second method, which is there's this stuff called activation energy. It's a spark. So when you first do something, you have a spark, right? Like, so you think of a new project and you're like, oh yay, I'm so excited about this. I can't wait to get started. Let's do it. Let's do it. And then as you do it, okay, and you start working on it more, and just like losing weight, going to the gym. In the beginning, you're like, oh yay, let's go to the gym. I'm so excited. Yes, let's do it. And then as that activation spark, activation energy dies down, it's literally an activation. That's what it's called. It's activation energy. As it dies off and you lose the momentum, how many people have experienced this? We all have. That starting a new habit, this is what happens. Because that activation energy doesn't last that long, you guys. It's only there to give us a push to go, right? And then, so then that's when we need, so for me, it's the dishes. I don't like to do the dishes. I hate to do the dishes. And so after we eat, what I've started to do, because I know when I walk by the dishes and I see those dishes and I know they look horrible and I hate it, but I hate doing dishes. So I've started listening to audiobooks. But the thing that I'll do is the 5-second method. So what you do is when you see something that you don't want to do, or maybe this is going to the gym, you give yourself 5 seconds to get going. So when I see the dishes, I start the countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, and then I start washing the dishes. Because that is a countdown to something, right? We are mentally in our mind, we are counting down to something. So we have to get started on something, right? So that's one way that can help you get out of procrastination or analysis paralysis or whatever, to do the thing. Another one is shifting, kind of what I talked about a minute ago, shifting from the pain, right? We do things to get out of pain. We are always trying to run away from pain, right? And running to pleasure. And so not doing the dishes, when I think of the dishes, I'm like, oh, that's so boring. I have to stand there. We don't have a dishwasher. I have to wash these things. Like, I don't know, you guys. I just don't like them. And I don't know why. But I've started to shift my thinking around it. Because do you know how amazing it feels to see no dishes in the sink? It just feels so good, right? It feels good to have all the dishes clean. Do you know how good it feels when I go to get a fork and there's one there? You know, they're not dirty in the sink. It feels so good, I'm sure, for my daughter, for Izzy, and for David, and for whoever, that when you go to get a cup and it's there, and it's, you know, like all of that. So let's run towards pleasure instead of running from pain. All right. So that'll help you with inaction of like, what is it that is going to be so amazing. So for me, like recording videos, it's not always the most, fun thing to do. So I have to do this. I have to think of all the women and all the people who are going to hear my words and possibly have a breakthrough, possibly start to think differently, and then start to feel differently, and then start to do things differently. And so this is all about our behavior. Okay. And let me know what you think about those. One, the 5-second method, like, maybe 5-second takeoff method or whatever. I don't know what we can call it, something like that. But also shifting out of pain into pleasure. And then think of times when you've taken action and good things happened. Think of the times that you've taken action and good things happened. Like, instead of thinking of time, like, I don't even know when we got this, like, has there ever been a time that we took action and bad things happened? I guess there could be, right? But right now I don't even want to go there. We can always turn something into something. And so really that is the gist of it. That's the gist of the behavior aspect of it, because once the event happens, you have the thoughts, you have the emotions, then the emotions lead to the behavior of, for me with fighting with David, I moved out. One time I moved out because I'm like, and that was just so stressful and everything, like instead of him just leaving, or whatever, it's a whole different thing. But also starting this business, like, starting and staying consistent. I want to talk about this for a minute. It's not about starting something. Sorry, my nose is running. It's not about starting something. It's about starting something and staying consistent. That is the key. To stay consistent with whatever it is you're doing. Because you know how many things we've started and we have all that activation energy and then we stop. And then we start something again. We have all this activation energy, then we stop. And it's just kind of like this and this. Well, we're going to break that cycle. And that is how your life changes. It's called a pattern interrupt, pretty much, right? We have a pattern where we start, we stop, we start, we stop. Well, we're going to stop that right now with one of these methods I just shared with you. And also, if you're finding it difficult to develop awareness around your thoughts and your feelings, look at your behavior. Just sit down and become a witness to yourself and become a detective. Make it fun. Like you are a detective or you're a reporter, and then you're a journalist of yourself, and and don't judge it. Don't judge it as bad or good or whatever. It is what it is. But whatever is bothering you right now, whatever is causing depression or sadness or unhappiness or insecurities or whatever it is, whatever's happening, examine it. And this is also what we can do in a 30-minute call, or this is what we do in my work and my coaching, is to help you get through these things, but to clear the clutter of your mind. And then you can find who you really are. And it's underneath all of these things. And so we have to start looking at our behavior. If we don't, then especially when we're blaming people, let's stop that. Like, take your power back. Whatever you're blaming someone else for why you are where you are, that stops today. Like, let's just cut that off. And you might have a little hastiness towards me for saying that, because it's very easy to blame someone else for why we are a certain way, but that is giving our power away. That person has control over you. Anyone you're blaming, anything you're blaming right now has power over you. They are in control of how you feel. And that is what my job is, to break that, to help you guys stop that, because you are so powerful. You guys are so fucking powerful. And so to wrap this up, what I would like to invite you guys, if you would like to, later tonight, I'm going to do another thing. I'm going to have slides and I have worksheets and stuff. This is just kind of a riff over what we're going to talk about tonight at 7. I've been doing this I did it last Wednesday, and I really like it because people that can't get on here at 10 can come at 7 this evening. And I have worksheets, and actually do them. And if you don't do all of them, at least pay some attention to it. Okay? You don't have to do all of it, but there has to be something that caught your ear, whatever I talked about today, because this is the formula for changing your life. This is the formula for creating your life experience, like step by step, literally. You can choose to see something differently. You don't have to choose to see somebody attacking as somebody's attacking you, okay? Let's say you take something personally from a family member. Well, they were just having a bad day. Were they really attacking you? Or it's because they were just having a bad day and they're all up in their stuff, right? But instead, you look at it as they're attacking you, and then you think in your head, like, oh my gosh, they're trying to attack me and I'm not good enough for them. And then you go to emotions of sadness and feeling insecure. And then your behavior is you retract and you don't come out of your shell, or you don't talk to anybody, or, whatever. Do you see how that goes? And then the outcome. Think of the outcome of your life. Think about where you're at right now. Like, this is real shit right here, you guys. Think about where you're at right now that you don't want to be, okay? If you're not happy with it, then go back and say, okay, look at your behaviors, even in the past. This is just something it's like a study. You can study your life here and do it this way of like, okay, I behaved that way because I felt what way? How did I feel? Okay, what was I thinking about that made me feel that way? Okay, it goes back. And then what really happened? How could I have seen that differently? But sometimes we can get too deep into this and we can start to really be like, oh, I regret things I did in the past. No, let's not go there. This is a learning experience. Like, learn from it so then it doesn't happen again. Okay? Like the relationships, patterns that I've had, like I've had to start responding differently and choosing who gets my energy. I'm teaching Izzy this as well. Just because, she gets to choose where she puts her energy. She doesn't, just because someone wants to be in her life or wants to be in her space does not mean that they can automatically be there and not be the nicest to her, right? Especially if they disrespect her. And she's only 9. Do you know how much I would have killed to know this information at 9 years old? So I am helping her stand in her power and to stay there. She will not know what it's like to live and grow up without not being in your power. I will not allow that to happen to her. Like, that's what I want for her. I'm helping as much as I can. I can't guarantee it, right? But I can just do what I can to help her. When you have a calling that involves doing for someone else, but they don't want to, and you know it's best what to do. Yes, my action is highest good for all. Yes. Darla, when you have a calling that involves doing for someone, okay, but they don't want to, and you know it's best. Yeah. Oh, what? Yeah, that is so hard, Darla. That is hard, what you just said. When you have a calling, because do you guys, and what she means, it like, we don't, like, even with the way Darla is, you know she's not up here, but if you knew Darla, she is very, very wise. She has been through so much, and she's very spiritually wise. Like, she's vibrating at a very higher frequency, you know, than a lot of the people around her. She knows a lot more, so it's really hard for her to bring it down, right? But this isn't something that she asked for. She didn't ask to know all this stuff. I didn't ask. I didn't wake up one day and want to learn about energy healing, just to learn about energy healing. No, that is not how this happened. I didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to share my story, and I'm going to start a group, and I'm then going to learn how to be a coach, and then I'm going to, like, none of this was planned. And this is where the goals and the outcome thing for me gets a little fuzzy, because it's like, I didn't have any of this planned. None of it. If you would have told me I'd be sitting in an office filled with spiritual tools, teaching about the mind and energy and our emotions, if you would have told me that 5 years ago, I would have laughed at you. I would have been like, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but that is not me. So this is when I want to say that tuning into your intuition and doing what is right for you, instead of staying in inaction because what's right for you isn't what's right for everyone else. And I just kind of feel like maybe someone needs to hear this, because this is like what is coming through. If you are in action, because if you were to take action, it would be, your family would disapprove, you know, or your friends would be like, what are you doing? Right? It would be out of the box for you. However, that's what feels best for you. Do it. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is another situation is going to come up where, yeah, you make that decision for your family or for your friends to stay in the box, and then something else will come up that challenges you. You know, again, you're going to have to choose to step out of the box. Like, you are going to live in misery. You're going to live unaligned. That is living unaligned with your truth. Now, I'm not saying your truth has to always be doing something rebellish. No, that's not what I mean. But if you are feeling like you do things for your family for the approval of your family or the approval of people in your life, of your friends, or maybe your husband or boyfriend's family, like you want their approval so bad, you don't need it. You don't. You are already approved of. And so I just beg you to please sit with yourself and listen to that inner voice of what it is, what feels best for you. Don't do it because, you know, other people say that you shouldn't. And I really, if you are having that, like, please, let's talk about it. But if that's why you're not taking action, like, the world needs you to take action. Like, and it just does. The world needs you to take action. That's why this morning when I was watching Mary Magdalene on Netflix, and I heard, and after, you know, he was crucified, and she sees him that morning or whatever when the sun rises, and he tells her what the kingdom really was, right? The kingdom is like all the disciples and they were all following him to this kingdom. And this is what people actually think, right? Like, that there is this, everything should look like a kingdom, like on this 3D dimension. And then Mary comes back and tells them, like, that the kingdom is in our hearts. Like, it is being free of anger and resentment and being childlike again. And it just reminded me of things that I'm doing and that Megan, hi Megan, that Megan's doing, that Darla's doing. Like, you know, like, it's like we are with our actions, we can create this new world, right? This world, this kingdom. And it's just so, it just like, that was my aha moment this morning of like, you know what? Because I've been judged a lot in this small town, right? And being from, I grew up here, and I don't identify with a religion anymore. And so I get judged, and I've had it, and it's bothered me. And I'm like, but that's like, I work for God. Like, I work for him. I don't know what else to say. I don't know why all this happened. So my point is, just by looking at your behavior, it can tell you a lot about what you want and what is true for you and what's not. Just please stick with how it feels best for you. And that's why I created this space of being able to share your truth without the fear of judgment for it, because it's just about acceptance, right? And accepting ourselves instead of everything being good or bad or right or wrong, labeling all of this stuff. We both suffer. We both can suffer. That's true. We both can suffer, but I don't want to even think of it as suffering anymore. I want to see it as elevating, or I want to see it as being something good, and not even like, and yes, it sucks when we're like, we want people to feel this way, or we want people to be a certain way for the good of them, not for us, for the good of them. We know that the way they are is they're killing themselves, by being so negative, by being so judgmental, by being so, whatever, the way that they are. So for the good of them, we want them to be better, right? And so then I know that's what you mean about we suffer for that. And it can be it's a very frustrating thing. It's frustrating. But for this training about behavior, just become aware of what behaviors are, what's happening that's not good. But then I want you to look and see what is going good, right? I don't want you to just look and see what's not going good. Look and see what is going good. What behaviors are you doing that are actually helping you? Like, what is it? Are you now journaling? Is that a new behavior? That is a behavior. Are you meditating? Are you just getting present? That's a behavior. Are you taking a nap? That's a behavior. Whatever. What are things that you're doing that are helping you feel better? Because at the end of the day, that is what matters, right? And so let me know if you guys have any questions, whatever your comments, questions, whatever it is, stories. Like, I want to hear how becoming aware of how you treat other people is also a good, just to look at your behavior today. That's the challenge for today, of just how are you showing up in your life? What decisions are you stuck on, and what action are you not taking that would get the ball going in the direction you want it to go? Or do you not know what you want? And do we need to do some stuff around goals, whatever it is? But I'll put my link at the bottom, and you guys can schedule a 30-minute call. And then I do want to share with you guys, I'm having a masterclass. We're having a masterclass. It's a 2-hour masterclass, May 14th, on the 6 pillars of our soul. That will, these 6 things are how we have interacted with the world over time. We've been domesticated and programmed and conditioned, not on purpose, right? Our parents didn't intentionally program us to be a certain way. No, it was the way that they were taught. But these things have covered up these six parts of our soul that are going to literally unleash answers and a path, and things will get a lot more clear once you address these 6 things. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that on May 14th. It's on a Saturday at 10 o'clock. I think we're going to do 10 a.m. And before that, we have the event May 7th in Peru at the Picker's Place. I will be there. I'll have a booth there, and we are going to do some chakra readings. We're going to do there's going to be some giveaways. So I will share more about that later. But today, let me know, where are you not making a decision, or where are you not taking action? And also, how are you treating yourself and how are you treating other people? Take a look at your behavior today. I'm very curious, and don't have any judgment, total acceptance. Okay. So, okay. So thanks guys. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Again, let me know your questions and stuff. And then I will be on again tonight at 7 with like the worksheet and some slides and kind of just show you guys some visual representations of this to kind of help things sink in a little bit more. And yeah, so I'll see you guys tonight. Bye.